Hello, my name is Cynthia Ramos Viñas, and I'm comparing Mexican and U.S. culture. So, Mexico's story. Mexico was colonized by the Spanish and was introduced to European culture, society, and religion. Customs known as costumbres were developed to enforce standards in how one should behave and interact with each other. These traditional systems led to the creation of mestizos, those with a mix of indigenous and European blood. Mestizos then formed their own culture that mixed indigenous and European cultural aspects, becoming the dominant culture eventually. This past of Mexico and the costumbres that came from it shapes their views and practices of social class today, creating a racial and class hierarchy. The audience for this presentation is American college students studying abroad. The goal is to gain a deeper understanding of Mexican culture, effectively communicate and develop a relationship with them, and enhance the educational and cultural experience. Previews of this presentation are Mexican etiquette and consequences, interlinked Mexican cultural aspects, power distance and uncertainty avoidance, collectivism versus individualism, and time, orientation, and indulgence. Here's some background information on Mexico. Depending on one's etiquette, they are determined to be raised well or malcriado, meaning poorly raised. If they were well raised, their class placement in society and wealth increases. If they are poorly raised, it is considered taboo and they have a lower placement in social class. Violating these norms can lead to bringing shame to their family and being excluded from opportunities and social groups. Society, church, government, politics, wealth, and education are all connected as they all control one's class placement. They can determine how one lives in Mexico, even from childhood. Every member of a family has a certain role to fulfill to maintain the structure of the family and support one another. For example, the mother manages the household, supports the husband, and has to be involved with the children's education and religion. Most families will consider their employees as family. Mexicans perceive the time in their lives as opportunity and not money, as they accept the future is predetermined. They do not justify in having a routine. Comparing Mexican and American culture using the Hofstede model. Mexico has a high power distance, as their costumbres are rigid expectations of social behavior and creates a hierarchy, which can lead to existential inequality and uneven income distribution. In Mexico, children have to be obedient, and older people are respected and feared. The United States has low power distance because there is an emphasis on equal rights, and there is less justification and more resistance in being told what to do. Mexico has a high uncertainty avoidance, while the United States has a lower uncertainty and avoidance. As Mexican shames and excludes people who don't follow etiquette and costumbres, they are intolerant and deviant persons and ideas. These people that are shamed and excluded lower their social status and family reputation and risk their family reputation in all institutions in Mexico, as all members push one truth that being well raised means a higher class placement. There's a frequent dislike of rules in the United States. Change is more accepted and there's more freedom of expression. Mexico is a collectivist society due to everybody having responsibilities to maintain harmony and structure. There is a deeper focus on in-groups. All the family is impacted if one member does not follow the social rules and expectations. The U.S. is individualistic as there are more rights of privacy and everyone is expected to take care of themselves and their immediate family. There is more of a stress of belonging in Mexico. Mexico has maintained their costumbres and traditions and have not significantly transferred their culture as the United States did. Thus, they have short-term orientation. The U.S. is in the middle of short and long-term orientation. Traditions are strongly valued, but there is deep focus on money and long-term planning that makes them have less short-term orientation than Mexico. Mexico has a cyclic concept of time, where the future is a repeat of the past, and rituals and practices are significant parts of Mexican life. The U.S. has a linear concept of time, where time is seen as only going forward and possibly has an end. As Mexicans see time as opportunity, they have more indulgence and focus on leisure and positivity. Americans see time as money, which is supported by a working hard attitude. They're less indulgent than Mexicans because of the drug war and high rates of depression. Recommendations for American college students studying abroad in Mexico. As Mexicans have a different concept of time, it is important to acknowledge the cultural difference. Take a longer time to conversate, get to know the person. It is significant to not be offended when they interrupt, as it is not seen rude in their culture. American college students should not see Mexicans as inefficient, undisciplined, and irresponsible for having a different concept of time. If you misinterpret their actions, take the time to not quickly judge and reflect on why they did these actions by seeing it through their eyes. This is especially important too when planning and doing projects with fellow Mexican students. Mexicans are less direct and more reserved. Try to understand it will take time to build a relationship, to look for the meanings through their use of symbols and gestures. Do not assume that Mexicans are underdeveloped and reinforce stereotypes. Instead, see their culture and practices as another way of living, not as an incorrect way of living, or Americans having a better way of living. It is also important to learn Mexico's history and culture. Mexicans have more information on Americans than Americans do on Mexicans. Learning their history and culture is important to ignoring stereotypes and creating more of an authentic connection. Learning these concepts can help American college students empathize more with Mexicans and create effective communication to have a better experience and have more deeper connections to the people of the country they're visiting. They are my sources, and thank you for your time.